Hi, family. So this is the third time that I am doing this video because I want to get it right. And the first time didn't come out right. The second time I thought maybe it did, but I went back and listened, and I knew I had that one feeling to not say one thing because he was saying, no, don't say it like that, right? And like I felt like he was saying it, and then there was like stuff in the background and stuff, so I was like, that was right at that moment. So okay, so I'm gonna read to you the scripture that was given to me. And yet, yes, the night before I was wondering about things, right? And I was wondering why certain things in the world was happening. Okay, we're going to go into specifics. Not specifics on the things that are happening, but specifics that it's stuff that's being allowed in the world, right? Okay. And it's not that God's allowing it, it's people, it's man, right? Okay, so and I was really, and then the stuff, just things, right? And I didn't understand on other things either. But I feel like the scripture he gave me really has a message in its own. But then as I was reading that, God gave me something else, which is in chapter 16, starting at verse 7. And when he gave me the scripture this morning, I went back to sleep, right? And like I went and looked, and it was the scripture that he gave me. We verified. I know that it was it, right? And I went back to sleep. And then when I got up again, I felt like he told me to witness, which means that this word is for someone or more than just one person out there. I don't know, but I know it's for someone else. And he went deeper into it. Maybe the reason, right? He led me to it. God will do that sometimes. He'll give you something. He'll lead you somewhere to go even deeper for the message, for the people to know who it's for, right? So, 2nd Chronicles chapter 15, verse 17. But the high places were not removed from Israel. Nevertheless, the heart of Asa was loyal all his days. Okay, so I read that. I was like, wow. The main part I focused on was the heart of Asa was loyal all his days, because God looks at our heart, right? And I'm sitting there talking about that and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, I'm led. I see the word seer, and I see the number 7. And this is how my brain works. It just is what it is. And I know where I feel like I was told years ago as a seer, right? Anyway, that's why it caught my eye, right? So we're going to start at verse 7, chapter 16 of 2nd Chronicles. And at that time, Hananiah, the seer, came to as a king of Judah, and said to him, because you have relied on the king of Syria and have not relied on the Lord your God, therefore the army of the king of Syria has escaped from your hand, where the Ethiopians and the Lubim, not a huge army with very many chariots and horsemen, yet because you relied on the Lord, he delivered them into your hand. Okay, and then verse 9. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong on behalf of those whose hearts is loyal to him. In this you have done foolishly. Therefore, from now on you shall have wars. Okay, and then on verse 10 it says that Asa was angry with the seer and put him in prison, for he was enraged at him because of this. And Asa oppressed some of the people at that time. Okay, so and it goes on to talk about Asa getting a disease and stuff like that, and died and all that stuff. You can go read it if you would like to. I don't know if all that's supposed to be really in this message, but the message is to, if you have started relying on man, or if you just rely on man anyway, you need to start relying on God. Okay? And if you need to come back to the Lord, come back to God and rely on him. Trust God. Okay? Because he's the one that provides. He's the one that takes care of you. Okay? And let's say you've relied on him for many years and then you started relying on a man. Okay, so I do have a situation where it was, and I remember it was a strong lesson for me. It really, really was, because I said, okay, every single time that I left a certain place, I said, I rely, because the enemy was trying to kick me out, right? And I was like, well, I trust God that I'll be able to come back in and stuff like that. And this has been years ago. And every single time I said that, I was able to come back in and everything was fine. The moment, or the one time that I said, okay, I trust you, because this person was saying it'll be okay, y'all, it went back in, da 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 da. The one time I said, okay, I trust you, I was not able to get back in. That was God showing me to not trust man, I trust him. Okay, and there's so many, like, God has shown me through the years to rely on him for everything, right? So we need to, if you and I knew I knew as soon as that happened, it was because of what I said, right? And so I came back to, like, okay, I'll never say that again. You know what I mean? That's, was in my mind. And sometimes we have to learn lessons like that to come back to the Lord and who you trust. Because God is not like man. He looks at the heart of man. He loves us, right? His love is different from man. Man has sometimes a conditional love. Okay? So whoever this is for, if you have strayed away from trusting God and you have went to trusting man, come back to trusting God. Okay? Because I really believe this message is that. You know what I mean? And also with the other part, some people may look at somebody's life and be like, okay, well, this is in their life, that is in their life. I see them doing this or that. But their heart is loyal to God. It's just those things have not been taken out of their lives yet. Okay? And then on your own self, just because some things are not taken away, you're still loyal to God. And if you are not loyal and you haven't been, because of the waves, like focusing on Jesus and the waves come up, the waves of the world, that's a hard one, right? And that was such an example of somebody walking with Jesus and walking on water and doing these miracles and having faith in God and then taking his eyes off, and then sinking. We got to keep our eyes on Jesus. We have to rely on God. Okay, so I don't know who this is for. I thought it was for me, and maybe some of it was answering that one scripture. But as I was reading, because he told me to witness, he wanted me to share it. So I truly believe it's for somebody, and it's really for all of us in a way to rely on God. The message itself is to rely on God. He will provide. Jesus says, don't worry about tomorrow, what you'll eat, drink, wear, whatever. And he told his disciples, don't take anything with you. You know what I mean? Rely on me. Rely on Jesus, Rely on God to provide for you. He said he takes care of the birds and the lilies. Okay? So you guys have a blessed day. Bye.